Stevens and I'm the director of Mployable. We specialise in CV writing, careers and recruitment, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to find jobs that don't exist. Yes, really. So we all know how to apply for a job that's there. We find the job application and we apply to it. Simple, right? But what about the jobs that don't actually exist? What about the companies that we'd love to work for but they never seem to be recruiting? How do we get into those? And the answer is network. And you think, well, Rosie, I don't have time. I have a full-time job. There's lots of other things. I've got a family. I don't have time to go out and about to these networking breakfasts and dinners and shindigs and coffees and everything else. No, you don't. But you do have time to go on LinkedIn. And that, my friend, is one of the ways that you can leverage your network to find jobs that don't even exist. So, if you already have a LinkedIn profile, then you are already part of the way there. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile is awesome. It is your CV that never sleeps. It's a very American term, but it's 24/7. It really is. It means recruiters from any company, anywhere in the world can find you, find your skills, find your experience and what you do, and decide whether or not you might work for them. Now, in order to find those jobs that don't exist, what you need to do is build a network. Now, you may already have a bit of a network on LinkedIn, but you need to start to leverage it. So, if you don't already know, LinkedIn works a little bit like a mushroom cloud. So you've got your first degree connections, your second degree connections, and your third degree connections. Your first degree connections are the people that you are directly connected to. Your second degrees are their connections, so you've sort of got a connection or two in common. And your third degrees are ones that you don't really have any links to, so the chances are you probably don't have any connections with them, or you don't have enough for them to be able to become a second degree connection. Now, if you are on the free version of LinkedIn, which as a job seeker, that is fine. I don't really think you need to, at the moment, pay for it. LinkedIn is changing all the time, and I do think they're trying to encourage more people into a paid for version. But as of today, I would say that you don't need really to pay for a LinkedIn account as a job seeker. So, I want you to take a look at your first degree connections. Is there anyone there who works for a company that you would love to work for? Have a really good look through. If the answer is no, then you need to find them. So what I need you to do is I need you to make a wish list of the companies that you would love to work for. Next, you're going to search for those companies on LinkedIn. So if you just do a search, which is sort of on the top bar of the LinkedIn page, put in the name of the company and find the company on LinkedIn. Once you've found the company, you can start to see employees that work for that company. And you can start to look through, and you might be surprised actually at the amount of second degree connections that you've got. Now, if someone is a second degree connection, then you can request to connect to them. Now, when you request to connect to them, LinkedIn asks you if you want to send them a note. And I would say always send a note. It used to be you used to have to claim to know somebody or actually know somebody, although I don't really know who did, really, when we were requesting to connect with people. They don't necessarily ask you that question anymore, but as I say, you have the option to put in a note. I always put a note, even if I don't know the person I'd like to connect to, and I always say something along the lines of hi, and I put their name. I hope you don't mind the request to connect. However, we haven't met before. I'm currently trying to expand my network, and I'd really like to add you to it. Something along those lines. It's very generic. If you want to come up with your own one, great. You can probably come up with something better than me, but I do get a reasonable rate of people sort of responding to that and accepting my request. So I would always be honest, like I say, if you haven't met them, just say we haven't met before, and then I would genuinely put your reason for connecting. So even if you'd like to put something like, I'm interested in the work at whatever name of the company, and I'd love to add you to my network. Something along those lines, and you can't go too far wrong. But never just leave it blank, never just send out an empty request as a cold sort of link to you, because I quite often get those through and I think, why is this person requesting to connect with me? And if I can't see genuine synergy and I can't see why we would need to connect, and they haven't told me, I quite often won't accept their request. So I think that's quite important. then you've sent through your request to connect. Hopefully the person on the other end will accept. Once they accept, they then become your first degree connections, and that means, hey presto, you can message them. Now, LinkedIn is a funny old platform because you will have some people who literally will go on their LinkedIn once in a blue moon. When I was working for recruitment agencies, we would leverage LinkedIn quite a lot as a platform to search for candidates, search and engage with candidates. And you'd quite often find that, candidates would respond to messages that I'd sent literally 6, 7, 8, 9 a year before, saying, oh yes, no, I am interested in this position. And I think, well, position's long gone and I don't even work for the company anymore. So there we have it. So just because you've sent someone a message, it doesn't mean that A, you're going to get a response, and B, they may not even see it for a while, so don't get too disheartened. But what I would do is I would start to look for people who work at the company that you're working for, particularly if they work in sort of the recruitment team or the sort of teams that you'd like to work in, and just send them a message and just say, I really love the work at so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm keeping an eye on the jobs board, if they have sort of a jobs board or job opportunities, and just say, this is what I'd love to do, these are my key skills, almost a bit like a covering letter, but remember, this is a LinkedIn message, so keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it succinct, to the point, all those other great things I've talked about in my other videos. And just be ballsy and ask the question and just say, this is what I'd love to do, this is what I can bring to the company, who would be the best person to speak to about these kind of vacancies, or could I possibly ask for the name of someone to speak to, something along those lines. 9 times out of 10, provided you've been extremely polite, provided it's well worded, and provided that you actually have the potential skills to do what you're asking to do, they may well have a contact for you, or you may get a polite thank you, but I don't really know anybody, or they might be able to point you in the direction. Or, as actually genuinely happened in my case a few years ago, I did the very same thing, wanting to work for a recruitment team for quite a big organisation, just so happened to stumble upon somebody to ask, connected with them. They weren't even working in that team at the time, they were just one of the people that accepted my request to connect. I sent a very polite message saying, this is what I would love to do, please can you pass my details on, or can you sort of give me the name of somebody that I might be able to speak to? And as luck would have it, they were recruiting in that team, and I got a call from the recruiting manager for that role within sort of a week or two of applying, and that job was never advertised. I never saw it anywhere. I literally just leveraged my connections, was ballsy and asked the question because I really wanted to work there, and it paid off and I got the job. So I'm living proof that this method works. It might not be to everybody's taste, and if it isn't, then fine. But if you want to be proactive about your job searches, don't just sit around waiting for the job boards to ping with the next opportunity. Get out there and find it. And with things like LinkedIn, it's made it easier than ever for us to put ourselves in front of the hiring managers, the CEOs, the recruiters, the people that we never would have spoken to in a million years before. We can really sort of put ourselves out there to speak to them in, like I say, in ways that we couldn't have done before platforms like LinkedIn. So as I say, this method is not everybody's cup of tea. Maybe, I'm not sort of kind of downplaying how much courage it takes to make a cold approach on a stranger, but like I say, as long as you do it politely, as long as you are asking for their help, and as long as they think that they can see some actual value that you could potentially bring to the company, I see no reason why they wouldn't want to try and help you if they can. As I say, this is definitely a long game method. This isn't a ping off 1 or 2 emails and you'll have a job within a week. This could take 6, 12 months for the right opportunity to come up. But if you start to build that network, if you start to build those relationships, if you start to add value to a company before you're even working there, by them seeing, that you're tenacious, you're hardworking, you're keen, genuinely keen on the company, you're not just job searching and, you've come across the first opportunity and applied for it, you genuinely have an interest in working for them, then I think that you can't really sort of go too far wrong in trying to, sort of leverage that network. So hopefully that helps. As I say, there's other ways which I can discuss in other videos, but that is one of my ways of trying to find a job that doesn't actually exist. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it as well, because I have plenty of other videos like this trying to help you build the perfect CV, interview, beat your interview nerves, write a covering letter, all that cool stuff that you need if you are interviewing in today's marketplace. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.